Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, heart heavy, feeling like you are nothing but a financial burden to your family? The kind of burden that silently presses down on your spirit, convincing you that your worth is measured only by what you can provide in dollars and cents? This feeling is more common than you think. In fact, countless people silently struggle with the same heavy thought that their presence costs more than they can ever give back. But today, on the 25th of June, I want to share with you a truth so powerful it can transform how you see yourself and your role in your family. Even if you feel like a financial burden, you are actually a spiritual anchor, holding your family steady through storms far more dangerous than money troubles. This truth goes beyond finances. It touches the very core of your identity and purpose. Before we dive deeper, let me make one promise. This isn't about guilt or shame. It's about uncovering a profound and life-changing truth about your value that no one can take away. It's about embracing what I call the anchor principle. This principle reveals that your true worth lies not in what you give financially, but in the spiritual strength, love, and hope you provide. It's a force that can calm the fiercest storms in your family's life. Let me introduce you to Sarah. Sarah is a woman much like many of us. She worked hard all her life, providing for her family with tireless dedication. Then, unexpectedly, she lost her job. The bills started piling up, and she found herself withdrawing from her loved ones, overwhelmed with the fear that she had become a burden. Each day, Sarah's thoughts spiraled deeper into despair. She wondered if her family would be better off without her struggling presence. But Sarah's story didn't end there. Slowly, she realized that her family didn't just need her paycheck. They needed her faith, her resilience, and her unwavering love. She was the glue holding them together, the quiet strength that gave them hope when money was scarce. Studies back up Sarah's experience. A 2024 report by the National Council on Aging reveals that families who share strong spiritual connections demonstrate greater emotional resilience during times of financial hardship. This means that your family values your spiritual presence far more than any paycheck. You are the anchor that holds the ship steady, even when the seas are rough. Picture this. Your family is a ship navigating a stormy sea. You may feel like the cargo weighing the ship down, but in truth, you are the anchor that keeps the ship from being swept away by crashing waves. Without that anchor, the ship would be lost to the depths. Today, you're invited to begin seeing yourself not as a burden, but as a lifeline. You will learn how to shift from a mindset of shame and despair to one of hope and purpose. Recognize that your role as a spiritual leader and emotional backbone is vital and irreplaceable. Take a moment now. Reflect quietly. What is one way your presence has quietly held your family together? Maybe it's the comforting smile you offer in hard times, the prayers you say in secret, or simply the unshakable hope you carry when others feel lost. Hold on to that thought tightly, because in the next part, we will uncover the deep spiritual strength inside you, the kind that anchors your family through the hardest storms, and explore how embracing this role can heal your heart and theirs. Remember, your worth is not defined by what you can pay, but by the love and faith you bring into your family every single day. When financial troubles weigh heavily on your shoulders, it's easy to feel like you're failing those you love the most. You may think that because you can't contribute financially, you have lost your purpose or place in your family. But what if the very thing you believe diminishes your value is actually the source of your greatest strength? Today, I want to introduce you to a concept I call the rooted resilience. This is the deep, unseen spiritual power that keeps you grounded through life's storms, no matter how fierce the winds blow. Just like a mighty tree clings to the earth with roots that run deep, you possess an inner strength that anchors your family through instability and uncertainty. Let's look at Michael's story. Michael, a former provider and breadwinner, faced sudden unemployment after decades of work. He was overwhelmed by shame and felt stripped of his identity. His wife and children struggled too, facing uncertainty about the future. Michael's initial response was to withdraw, convinced he was a financial burden and that his family's burden would be lighter if he just disappeared. But what Michael didn't realize was that his spiritual presence was the foundation his family desperately needed. Even without income, Michael's prayers, encouragement, and unwavering faith became a source of hope. He learned to lean into his role as the spiritual anchor, providing emotional strength and reassurance. Research from the Journal of Family Psychology supports Michael's experience. Studies show that families where members actively practice faith and spiritual connection during financial hardship report lower levels of anxiety and stronger emotional bonds. This evidence shows that your spiritual influence can profoundly impact your family's well-being, far beyond money. Financial struggles can feel like a storm tearing at your family ship, but your rooted resilience is the anchor that holds everything in place, steadying the vessel when waves threaten to capsize it. Now, how do you cultivate this rooted resilience? It begins with embracing 5 key spiritual practices I call the anchor actions. Daily prayer or meditation. Start each day by connecting with your faith. This quiet time replenishes your spirit and equips you for the challenges ahead. Open conversations. Share your fears and hopes honestly with your family. Vulnerability builds trust and reduces isolation. Serving others. Acts of kindness, even small ones, shift focus away from your worries and build purpose and connection. Gratitude practice. Recognize and thank God or the universe for the blessings, even the small ones. Gratitude nurtures hope and positivity. Community engagement. Surround yourself with faith-based groups or supportive communities that reinforce your spiritual strength. These anchor actions aren't just rituals, they are lifelines. They reinforce your role as a spiritual leader in your family, showing that your value comes from your heart and soul, not your wallet. Michael took these steps. He prayed every morning, shared honestly with his wife, volunteered at their church, and joined a support group. Over time, the shame lifted, replaced by peace and renewed purpose. His family saw his strength not in dollars, but in love and faith. Now I want to ask you directly, which of these anchor actions feels possible for you to begin today? What small step can you take that would remind your family and yourself that you are the steady anchor holding them fast? Remember, your financial situation doesn't define you. Your spiritual presence does. You are the unshakable root that nourishes your family's hope and resilience, even when money is scarce. In the next part, we'll explore how to build stronger connections with your family through communication and faith, creating a fortress of love and understanding that money alone can never buy. One of the deepest wounds that financial hardship inflicts isn't on your wallet, it's on your relationships. Feeling like a burden can build walls between you and your loved ones, creating silence where there should be understanding, and distance where there should be closeness. But the good news is this: your spiritual presence has the power to heal those wounds and strengthen the bonds that truly matter. Let me introduce you to Linda. Linda was overwhelmed by guilt after losing her job, convinced she had failed her family. She stopped sharing her feelings, withdrawing into herself, afraid that her sadness and fear would only burden her husband and children. But that silence bred misunderstanding and loneliness. Her family felt disconnected, unsure how to support her, and the house became heavy with unspoken pain. Linda's turning point came when she embraced what I call the heart bridge, a deliberate practice of open, vulnerable communication rooted in faith and love. She started small, sharing her struggles in honest conversations, inviting her family into her world. She prayed with them, listened deeply, and created space for everyone to express their fears and hopes. The heart bridge is more than communication. It's a sacred connection that rebuilds trust and understanding. Psychological research supports this. A 2023 study in the Journal of Marriage and Family found that families who engage in regular, honest conversations about struggles experience significantly higher emotional intimacy and resilience. Creating this bridge requires courage. It means pushing past fear of rejection or judgment to speak your truth and listen with compassion. It's about transforming "I'm a burden" into "we're in this together." Building the heart bridge involves these key steps. Create safe spaces. Designate times and places where family members can speak openly without fear of interruption or criticism. Practice active listening. Show empathy by truly hearing what others say, reflecting feelings back, and withholding judgment. Share your story. Be brave enough to reveal your fears, regrets, and hopes. Vulnerability invites connection. Encourage spiritual sharing. Pray together, read meaningful passages, or share inspirational thoughts to deepen spiritual bonds. Linda's family began to heal as the walls of silence came down. Their prayers became the threads weaving them closer. The house filled with laughter and understanding, even in the midst of financial uncertainty. Now, take a moment to reflect. How might opening your heart and inviting your family into your spiritual journey change the way you all face hardship? What fears are you ready to release in order to build this bridge? Your financial struggles don't define your family. Your shared faith and honest connection do. You are not a burden. You are a source of hope and healing. In the next part, we will explore practical ways to nurture your spiritual anchor through self-care and faith practices that sustain you daily on this journey. As financial pressures mount, it's easy to forget one vital truth. Before you are a provider, you are a person worthy of care and compassion, especially from yourself. Being a spiritual anchor doesn't mean you must carry every burden alone or neglect your own well-being. In fact, self-care is essential to sustaining the strength you offer your family. Many who feel like a financial burden fall into a dangerous cycle of self-neglect, believing their worth depends on sacrifice without rest. This drains your spirit, leaving you vulnerable and exhausted. But nurturing yourself spiritually and emotionally is not selfish, it is necessary. I call this the sacred self-care system. It's a practical, faith-centered approach that replenishes your soul and renews your resilience daily. Here are the core elements. Rest and renewal. Allow yourself regular times to rest physically, emotionally, and spiritually. This might mean a quiet morning prayer, a walk in nature, or simply sitting in silence to reconnect. Affirmations of worth. Replace negative self-talk with affirmations rooted in faith. Speak aloud truths like, "I am loved beyond measure," or "My worth is not defined by money, but by God's grace." Healthy boundaries. Learn to say no to things that drain you unnecessarily. Protect your energy so you can be present and supportive for your family. Gratitude practice. Every day, note at least 3 things you're grateful for. This shifts focus from scarcity to abundance and invites peace. Spiritual nourishment. Engage with scripture, inspiring books, or uplifting music regularly to feed your soul. Scientific studies reinforce these practices. For example, research from the Mayo Clinic shows that people who practice self-compassion and spiritual self-care experience lower stress and greater emotional stability. This isn't just theory, it's proven healing. Let me tell you about James. James struggled deeply with feelings of inadequacy after losing his job. He felt invisible and powerless, sinking into despair. But when he began the sacred self-care system, everything changed. He dedicated time each day to prayer and affirmations. He set boundaries around toxic conversations. Gradually, James felt his spirit renew, giving him the strength to hold space for his family without crumbling. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. To be the spiritual anchor your family needs, you must nurture yourself first. This sacred care will build your resilience and deepen your capacity to love and support. Now, reflect. What is one self-care practice you can begin today to renew your spirit? How might investing in yourself change the way you support your family? In our final part, we will explore how your spiritual anchor can inspire your family's future, creating a legacy of faith, hope, and love that outlasts any financial struggle. As we come to the close of this journey, it's important to see your spiritual anchor not only as a lifeline today, but as a legacy for tomorrow. Your strength, faith, and love are gifts that ripple across generations, shaping your family's future in ways money alone never could. Many people who feel like financial burdens lose sight of the profound impact their spiritual presence has on their children, grandchildren, and beyond. But what you embody, the courage to endure, the grace to forgive, the faith to hope, this becomes the foundation upon which your family builds their lives. Consider the story of Ruth and Samuel. Ruth, in her later years, struggled with health issues and limited income. Yet her daily prayers, unwavering faith, and stories of perseverance inspired her children and grandchildren. Samuel, her grandson, often said, "Grandma's strength was our family's anchor." Her love held us steady even when times were tough. This legacy is no accident. It's a testament to the spiritual anchor you can be right now. You are planting seeds of hope that will bloom long after financial storms have passed. Let me share a system I call the legacy of light. This approach helps you intentionally pass on spiritual strength and hope to your family through these practices. Storytelling. Share your journey, the struggles, the faith, and the victories with your loved ones. Your story becomes their roadmap. Prayer and blessing. Regularly pray over your family, asking for protection, guidance, and peace. Teaching faith values. Pass on principles of hope, forgiveness, and resilience through daily actions and conversations. Creating traditions. Build rituals that celebrate your shared faith and strengthen family bonds. Modeling courage. Live with integrity and openness, showing that true strength comes from reliance on faith, not material wealth. Science affirms the power of legacy. A study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that families who engage in faith-based traditions and storytelling experience stronger emotional resilience and cohesion. So, ask yourself, what legacy do you want to leave? How will your spiritual anchor shape your family's future? Today, the 25th of June, know this: even if you feel like a financial burden, you are far more than that. You are the heart and soul of your family's hope, the steady anchor through storms, and the light guiding future generations. Your worth is immeasurable, your presence is invaluable, and your faith is a gift that transforms lives. Thank you for allowing me to walk this path with you. May you embrace your role as a spiritual anchor and inspire your family with love, hope, and unwavering faith.